It's a bit wobbly. I've had some issues with the audio as always, so forgive me if it's gone a bit wrong. It's a bit pedantic. It's one of those pedantic sort of days where it works and then it doesn't work. I'm just making sure this is broadcasting. Apparently it's broadcasting. 2 people are watching. Is this focusing on me? It's supposed to. This little box is following me around. Yeah, I think it's working. When we have somebody in chat could say that it is working. I think it's saying 1 view, no data. Right, I've got to do this Twidget thing. Twidget connect. Let's see whether it does it straight away. Loading, it says. I did that once before and it didn't load in. It's bloody boiling on this boat. Bloody boiling. I'm going to open that door and it'll soon get cooler. Oh my god. Cold air's just come in. It's cold as hell in the other room. It says it's loading, but I don't think it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign out of Twidget and I'm going to go back into Twidget now that the stream's running. And let's go back into the start. Let's get the stream URL. I have to do this all the time with this app. URL, copy, done. Seems to be fine coming out there. Control V, connect, loading. There, Donna. I think we got Donna in here already. Has that showed up? It has showed up. It's way above everything else, Donna. It's boiling here because it's 27.4 degrees C on this boat right now. It's rather warm. I've overcompensated with the heat. 1 second. Let me see whether I can redo this box. I don't think we're going to get many in here tonight, Donna. I'm glad you're here. There we go. Let's put you down. Let's put that down there. Let's make it a bit bigger, though. Let's make it a bit bigger. Let's put that down there. There. How's that? Is that good, Donna? How cold is it where you are? Is the audio working okay? It's as I said, it's very warm in here. It's very warm in here. Audio good. Thank you, Donna. That's good. It's bloody freezing here. It hasn't updated. There's a little bit of a delay between the chat on the YouTube and Twidget, so I can't select your comment saying audio good until now. Technology, Donna, is sometimes just blows my mind how finicky it can be. But yeah, so how cold is it where over there for you, Donna? Is it pretty chilly? No more storms, I hope. Nobody likes a storm, especially the one that hit you guys a few weeks ago. I got the fancy glasses through. Can you see the fancy glasses? They're a bit blurry, but you can probably see them here. Hello, Ben Manning. Ben Manning asks, where are you moored, old chap? Crick in Northamptonshire or Leicestershire. I forget which one. They sort of do this, Northamptonshire. I could go out, walk about 5 minutes, and I'm in Leicestershire or Northamptonshire. So close to Rugby. Well, about 10 miles away from Rugby, which is how far I want to be away from Rugby. Donna says, I don't know smiling face with smiling eyes. Don't want to leave the chat and check the weather forecast. The weather forecast is its own scare. It's like a scare premiere every hour. If you were to tune into the weather forecast, no matter where you are in around the world, I can imagine every single weather forecast reads like the end of the world. Just may as well be a weatherman or a weatherwoman standing there with a sign saying the end is nigh. And stop using your car. And the other sign, the end is nigh. Stop using your car. Stop using your heating. Stop using CO2s. Or we're all dead. Somehow, though, they're really clever, these climate scientists, because they seem to have cornered the market for even when it's really cold, like really cold that you guys are suffering now. I think there was a huge cold spell across America as well. The climate scientists they've got it like well tuned now, well-tuned machine that basically says, even with temperatures plummeting into the minus, it could be to do with global warming. So they've got all bases covered for that. All bases. Scorchio. El Scorchio. God, I missed the Fast Show. That was back in the day. That was really good. So yes, how are you, Ben? Ben and Donna. Donna and Ben. Shall we have a look at this game? It's a bit of a random stream. I didn't plan it. I just thought I bought this game a couple of days ago. It was reduced. I think I paid £14 for it, so we're not talking a big high-end game. But I bought it based on I played one Wales interactive game back in the day, and I think it was called The Bunker, something like that. It was a horror FMV, which is a full motion video. So basically, it's like a film, and you get given multiple choices to do stuff. So it's a film basically. And I played at The Bunker, and it stayed with me. It was a pretty good game. It had its flaws, but I enjoyed the mystery and the horror element. Anyway, they released this one a couple of years ago. It had been on my radar, but I hadn't really got round to wanting to play it because a friend of mine is making a game, and I guess it put a bit of a downer on it when the company that made this game pulled out of his game. And I thought, I'm not going to support them because they pulled out of his game and they left him swinging in the wind. They promised him the earth and gave him some gravel. So I felt like I didn't want to buy a game from them in support of my friend's game. So anyway, my friend has gone ahead and is making the game the way he wants to make it, and he's doing a bloody good job at it. So I say, Wales Interactive, you missed out there. You missed out. But anyway, I went ahead and I bought it based on one review that said, and it's such a bold statement, a British Twin Peaks. I don't think it's that. I can tell you that now to somebody who's into the whole Twin Peaks thing. I can tell you now that that kind of review or statement, it's too bold. It's too bold a statement. Anyway, I thought I'm going to give it a chance. Who knows? It might be a British Twin Peaks. Pfft. So yeah, I've got that playing on well, here it is, and I'm glad the chat still stays up there, though I have to move that down again, Donna, because it's a bit I reckon we can make it bigger. Way let's bring it down there. That should be out of the I hate when it does that should be out of the way of the game, I think, if we leave it down there. I won't be able to select any of these when I'm playing the game, so your chat might not pop up until the end. So if you're enjoying it, do let me know in the chat. And there we go. Do let me know in the chat, and I will eventually highlight them. But as it stands, I can still see the chat on my iPad, which is here. So if anyone's talking while I'm playing, I will be able to see. So now that I know everything seems to be fine, I'll turn that up a wee bit so as I can hear it. And what we will do... Does everything look good? Does everything look good? Everything look good. So yeah, the Isle Tide Hotel. It's got mixed reviews. Maybe that's to do with its comparison to Twin Peaks. Go to new game. Let me know if you can hear everything.
Miss Bisley.
I'm afraid not. Oh, bollocks! Oh, shit! 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 Oh, I mean, oh my dear! Oh my dear! I'll grab you this.
Nice record collection.
You have my conviction.
You don't know me, but I've found you. It wasn't easy, seeing how you've never met, but her words were persuasive. Once I tracked you down, I went back to her, but she was gone. All I found in the debris was an address, which I've enclosed.
Is that a cup of
To make sure
beans?
she's all right.
Cup of
If
beans.
there's any part of you that cares for your daughter, you'll come too. Signed, R. Price, private investigator.
Right, well, this is it. The Isle Tide Hotel.
Tell me about the hotel.
What can you tell me about the hotel?
Oh, right, yeah, I see. Buck me up with a bit of chat and see if I spill. I said I'd keep quiet. Look, if this is some kind of test, I don't appreciate it, mate. God knows what you lot get up to in there. It's even stranger when you leave. Look, forget the fare, will you? Just get out.
Are you, hey. Never mind. Just, excuse me.
Welcome back to the Isle Tide Hotel. If only for our final night. I trust you had a pleasant term, Miss Ray. My apologies. I mistook you for somebody else. How may I help
I want a room.
Head grew heavy and your sight grew dim, sir. Well, I'm afraid our rooms are not for booking. May I suggest trying a hotel? I'm sure there must be one nearby.
Is it an immigrant hotel?
I'm looking for someone.
It's rather difficult to keep track of those frequenting the Isle Tide. May I inquire as to whom?
Just someone I used to know.
Should you have your eye on a particular patron, the measuring ceremony begins shortly. If I could just see your invitation, sir.
He's blind.
Marvelous. I trust you had a pleasant turn.
Of course.
May I inquire which symbol can be found on the inside of the invitation? You must have seen it, no doubt.
No, I didn't see it.
Before my sight was kindly taken from me, I had argued that the symbol was too large, given the subtlety of its message. And seeing that our invitations are printed on card rather than paper, I would kindly ask you to leave.
And that's the end of the game.
Okay. Fine.
He'd suss that out anyway with a card and a paper.
I was just... Are you not going in, or... I take it the receptionist wasn't very friendly. Something about him. Otherwise, you'd be in there, right? Unless you're thinking it over. Not me. I'm Christopher.
I'm looking for someone. Well, she's a lot older now.
You mean she's in there? Yeah. Oh. Well, sorry, it's just, well, you don't get an invite if everything's okay. I'm here for my daughter too. Oh, she's not inside it, it's me. I don't want her growing up with a dad like this. Anxious.
Seems like you really care about it.
I do. And this place can really change you. Whether that's a good thing or... But I could help you at least. Get you in if we went together.
Yeah, let's go in together.
You would do that? You would come in with me?
Sure.
Well, then great. Come on.
Christopher, sweetie. For a moment there, you gave me a fright. I thought we couldn't have you.
Yeah, my friend here, he convinced me.
Hi. I'm Josh Malone.
We don't usually allow guests, but as you convinced my Christopher, I won't put you through the test. But we need you to get fitted. Why don't you go get ready, sweetie?
I'll see you in there. Oh.
You'll be following me, speedily. Arms up, sweetie. Let me measure you. Oh, well, do you wish to participate or not? We need to start the exhibition, and if you don't wish to...
What kind of exhibition is this?
Only the world's greatest, sweetie. There's nothing more exquisite than the human form. Human form is exquisite. But the world and her wife wish to change it, fill it, fake it. Pity. It is only when we're different we realise what we had. I create all the experiences at Hurltide. A clear vision, varied, so they find their true core. But lower my call sheet. I just want to find my chameleon. Somebody who can wear them all to perfection. I'll get one ready for you. Go wait in the bar and I'll summon you through shortly. Off with you, speedily.
Red or gold?
Excuse me?
See? Another verse that doesn't notice them.
Have you never looked up during the swell celebration?
Which is why the balloon should be gold this term.
But red is traditional.
You've said that already.
But red is customary.
Customary to always have someone else take the credit. We need to try something new.
What do you think, dear?
If no one notices, perhaps you should try the gold. There's a girl here.
Perhaps I'm no longer needed. Some old relic.
Oh, don't go. I wouldn't know how to do this without you.
What do you reckon, everyone? Bar, table, sit, talk to a woman, talk to a man. Sit. Sit would be completely, well, not playing the game properly. Go to the bar. Well, I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna talk to the woman. I'll talk to the woman. Talk to the woman.
I'm stuck for choice. I'm swayed towards the white lace, but I wore that last term and nothing changed.
What didn't change?
They failed again to nominate me.
Who wore it best? I'm looking for a girl.
Oh my. Who's she wearing? It's hard to keep up, frankly. They always outdo me in the term's latest fashions. I can tell she means a lot to you. The way you failed to look at me. It's perfectly acceptable to do it alone, but I think it's best to have a partner. Am I right?
Sure.
Well, you should find someone to help you.
was wondering...
I've tried to warn her. They can't be changed or cheated. The receptionist reminds us all with a single look. Except that man at the bar, it seems. I didn't stick around to find out why this time. I best go find her. She'll be looking for me. My wife.
One will attend the tide. Correct action is adhered to in accordance of the tide, held between a term of every 3 years for 3 nights, that shall never be prolonged or extended. Thus a reminder of das Nichts. One will choose a suit. Correct effort shall be made on the tide to select a new suit. After the fitting, the suit shall be chosen on swell night and worn for the coming term. Thus a halting of Geworfenheit. One will honour swell night. This sounds like Fight Club. Correct concentration in cardinal during the measure, fitting and swell night ceremony, thereby halting all communication with the outside world, thus a banishment of das Gered, greed. Oh my god. I'm not going to read the rest of them out. Correct mindfulness of our elect is to be upheld at all times. Elect are encouraged to confess the sins of their term and shall be forgiven outright unless the breaking of an etiquette. Correct intention is attended when distraction and desire are abolished, allowing for mindfulness across the term. All elect shall assist this purge by means of fulfillment on the tide. Correct speech will ensure the tide is kept secret and limited distraction from our mission. The Grand Elect will select those best suited to the cause by the way of invitation. Correct livelihoods are encouraged between the tides to protect the suit. Each shall be returned as gifted, never committing the suit to compromise, constraint or condition issues within the term. Correct view of the elect and their mission shall be at the forefront of the tide. Distractions made by suits are to be renounced after purging distraction and desires, thus seeking the core. All will follow the etiquettes. Do as you are told. Wow. There you go. Back.
Purge by means of fulfillment.
Bollocks. Main hall, bar, table. Well, no, that's what I want. Bar is that. Table. What's on the table? Have a look round the table.
Where is room 14? Join me for the changing of the tide. Seeking person with an open mind to peel back the layers and find the core. Room 7, 8 p.m. Rosie. To all who think the core is sex, all genders welcome. Room 18. for lovers of literacy and language. I, Jordan Hemlock, am starting a petition to change the terminology of the etiquettes. Ergo, come find me and sign.
It's his daughter, is it? That lady drugged at the start. It's probably his daughter. Now, if I hadn't have sat down, I wouldn't have been able to check the wallet and got that clue. A clue that just adds gravitas to this intriguing, if slightly conventional story, which it's trying desperately to not be conventional, but it's failing. I'm a hard critic.
It's 5 o'clock at the sound of the turn.
You realise Dr. Aniston could be anybody. I wonder if he's here.
I've got no closer to finding the core this tide. Waste of a suit.
You're here to see me, no doubt? Yes, I'm Jordan Hemlock. I'm not surprised you've heard. They chatter in their boxes. You see, I've spent more time alone this term and began to ponder the word term. Horrid sounding. Ergo, I've created a petition for the Grand Elect to change the terminology. What do you think of the word span?
So how was your span?
I knew I could count on you. You remind me of myself before I slip this on. Actions speak louder than words can be spoken, as the saying is.
Right. And these Grand Elect, they choose who come here, do they?
Invitation only. Oh, they ramble on about their inclusiveness, but all I can see in these etiquettes are rules to keep out those they deem unsavory. But should we call for a hearing at the measuring in front of all the verse, ergo they'd have to consider it without the benefit of a bout. They don't have to listen to me. There are rules in place to stop that too.
Rules can be broken.
Oh, if only. Unless, like the democracy of America, you scratch my back, and then you can demand a favor later.
Right. I mean...
And I would guarantee it. Anything you want.
Good afternoon, sweeties. Tonight's measuring is underway, so if you could adorn your robes, masks, and follow me speedily, the grand elect await.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know there was somebody here.
You think it's easy? Well, it's not. I have been trying for the last 2 hours. 2 hours! Trying to put that lipstick on and it keeps smudging. They tell you to change, but they don't prepare you. They don't tell you how to feel. I can't go a whole term with that. It's not about that, George. It's about what's inside, George. It's about the core, Georgie.
I will say one thing. It's beautifully shot. Well framed. Higher budget. As a filmmaker, or a former filmmaker myself, I know that these locations don't come cheap.
Hey! You don't know me, but I found you. That's what I wrote in the letter. I'm Price.
You're Price?
What did you expect?
Oh! Jeez!
Bet myself a bottle of Bushmills you wouldn't show. Heard you were never around. And people don't change. So figured it an easy bet. Those who do, you have to watch out for. So why are you here?
Looking for my daughter.
I'm here for Eleanor.
What, out some newfound fatherhood? Or looking to make
Yeah, I came, didn't I?
Makes no difference.
Well, why did you write the letter?
In case something happens to me, at least someone would know where she is.
So have you found her?
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Save you the trouble. Christ.
Hey, you don't know what happened.
I know she could barely crawl when you walked out. Missed every step she ever took. But I guess he taught her one valuable lesson. You can't rely on anyone. Well, if you want to find Eleanor, you'll have to change. The guests are getting together downstairs dressed in these. I'm going to get one, go down there and find out who has her. And if you don't show, I won't be surprised. Doubt she would either.
Take it that was his ex-spouse. Eleanor is their daughter, possibly. Possibly. Eyes wide shut. Oh, no expense spared on the gown.
What does yours do for a living?
Accountant. Boring. London-based, so the commute's a nightmare.
You can settle down next term.
Do you sweat much?
Got newfound respect, mind you. Didn't get promoted once. Bloody bunch of tossers.
Told you so. And you said I was whining. I hope you learned something.
Yeah. It's never subtle. It's obvious where they're looking. Right here. Bloody off,
Oh, sorry.
Looking forward to making some new friends. It's been a lonely term. Don't pick me.
After the measuring wraps up, we can approach the Grand Elect. I hear they've even taken a girl this term. Sparrow. Underage. Hypocrisy. We must fight them at their own game.
Scheming again, Jordan. Am I right?
Still propagandizing your suit to get into the pageant?
You don't know me, but I found you. It's got you right off. Stop shaking like a teenager's wrist. Guessing these aren't your average guests. There's a lot of them. Not sure on their choice of robe, though. What's up with you?
Just nervous.
We'll find her.
That's what I'm nervous about. Not sure how to explain to her where I've been all these years.
Grapes are not harvested from thorn trees, nor are figs gathered from thistles, for they yield no fruit. Peel comes before the fruit to protect it, but that shall not be so on the swell. Just as the great ocean has one taste, the taste of salt, so too shall this tide, the taste of life. To reach the fruit, we must first cut away the peel. Simul justus et peccator.
Good afternoon, Verse. Nice to see our body. Hope you all had a lovely time. If you're new, or would like reminding, the 9-chapter etiquettes can be found in your rooms, or on the notice board in the lobby. It is my pleasure to introduce the Grand Elect.
We are who we say we are. Praise be to Dr. Aniston, founder of the Tide and seeker of the core.
Praise.
Praise. Praise. First we have taken the measure of each other. Now comes the fitting. Bring forth the new verse. us your name.
Christopher?
Give us your name, and we will change it. Give us your suit, and we shall swap it. In the giving and the changing, only the core will remain. And in the core, purpose.
I've changed my mind. Sorry. I don't want to do this. I was talked into it. Well, no, please. No, please. No!
Before we embark, does anybody wish to shed guilt for the term?
Last term, I practiced as the priest. I found it hard. I confess, I turned to drink. And I got a tattoo.
Etiquette 7 has been broken. To impart manners, your choice of suits for the coming term shall be halved.
Forgive me.
You are already forgiven.
I committed a crime on the previous term, which verse 37 was arrested for.
Etiquette 4 has been broken. To impart manners, your suit shall be chosen for you. You are already forgiven. I too wish to shed. The whispers you have heard of a young girl are true. Chosen by Dr. Aniston himself for this deviation of etiquettes, she will be presented to all at tonight's swell celebrations. A hearing for all. Until such time, we shall proceed from the measure to the fitting.
Therefore, ergo, I have started a petition to to swap out the word term.
Are you sure you're doing this for the love of language, Jordan?
That's not what I meant to. I'm here representing those verses, such as this person, who have signed our petition and believe that it is important that one word...
I do not believe we've met.
Staff members, hangers, mentors, or those untested shall have no say at the Altide or the Swell.
Unless the new verse passes the entrance exam, ergo allowing all established rights of the etiquettes to be passed to him or her.
Should they pass?
You failed to mention that you weren't invited. However, if you do this for me, I'll grant you a favor.
I want Eleanor.
this, I'll help you with that. You must think like them. Hmm?
Shall we begin?
Sure.
I think I can think like them. Them a pronoun?
Lovely to meet you.
Diversity is our strength.
Question. Are you afraid of dying?
Isn't everyone?
Who is the founder of the Tide?
Dr. Aniston.
Founder of the Tide and seeker of the core.
I was talking with Dee the other day about what the most important part of the Tide is.
Diversity.
She believes it's the suits. What would you say?
The verse.
The verse.
That's what I said. It's the people that
How
always
many
know.
members were present at the first time?
I don't know. 9. Sounds like a good number.
9.
Incorrect. There were 6.
I've got one
think
wrong.
that question was slightly harsh for a new verse.
So do I.
If you could experience all the world had to offer, but you had to inhabit another person, would you?
Yes, without question.
Such blind ambition. Commendable. But we're here to encourage more individual thought. Each term we complete, we remove distraction, ambition, and leave little of the person you once were. And what's left was always there.
Our core purpose.
The meaning in life.
Yes, yes, but did he pass?
Yes.
Our newest verse.
There you go. Will you listen to the hearing?
And do me a favour, mate.
You may not
You owe me
score
one.
another witness term, Jordan Hamlet. For a verse may call for 1 hearing per term. And we have already heard your request on behalf of your wife,
Unbearable.
which was denied.
Well, then I will call a hearing.
As is your right. Verse 56.
You'll still need 68.8% of all verse to sign the petition.
All etiquette hearing must be signed off by the notary before the swan night celebration.
Which is tonight. Good luck.
Was that moth supposed to be there?
Mean about your wife.
Lovely woman. Always complaining. Find a nugget of gold and she'll grumble about silver suits her better. Still, she's my nuisance. And they banned her from joining.
What did she do?
Nothing. That's just it. I'd do anything to be with her.
By proving they're not always right.
Yes. There you go. Help me with this.
Already have.
And I'll get this Eleanor Malone.
I already did.
Take this to the notary and get it signed. He's a tricky fellow and we haven't much time.
Where do I find him?
I'm starting a revolution here. I'm not in the habit of making visits. Take a peek at the map behind reception. I'll go and get the rest of the signatures that we need.
Well, are you going to get enough in time? Isn't that exactly an exciting proposition?
You've given me an idea. Meet me at the bar once you're done. Mm-hmm.
He's a time waster. Keep doing him favours. Just get on back. Just look for your daughter. Join the legal team. Partner with Jordan. Apparently that's an achievement. Oh, it's a desk, he did. Let's carry on doing this man's tasks. What am I looking for? Sign in book. Gonna get it signed by this bloke, haven't they? Someone. Who the hell was it? I've forgotten. Come on, man, hurry up. How do I look at the stuff? Oh, here we go. Shit, what was the doctor? What was the guy's name? Who did I have to look up? Is anyone watching this? If they are, who was the chap that I have to get this piece of paper signed by? Elvin Presley. That's a pseudonym. Keys. I don't think he gave me a name. What's the note? Heard about your bananas. I'd love to join. Let me know. Room 29. Hi, Paul. Heard about your bananas. This is dumb. I don't want to take just a random rune key. A ball. A rubber ball. Where is everyone? He's just standing here, has all the time in the world to snoop about. Not taking any key. Have no idea. Okay, so somebody's got to sign it. There's be an official announcer. The doctors. Doctor. D. D. Room number 12. Yeah, room number 12. They called the person D. If D... Back to reception. Let's get room number 12 key. That sounds like somebody that would be required to sign something. If they've mentioned him in a ceremony. Was it 12, wasn't it? Yeah. Let's see what the 12's here. Is. Let's take that out. With haste. Oh, it's on the second floor, is it? Room 12. D. Don't knock, you got a key. Cool room. Well, nobody is signing anything. D. Long time there to shut it. Well, I guess there's not much else. Beauty table. Come on. You go to all that time set dressing this wonderful room and then have nothing to do. Look at it. They spent all that money at some retro furniture shop. What a pointless venture that was. Let's go to the doctor on room 1. I don't think I need a key. I probably would if I wanted to snoop. I mean, how did he know Noah was in room 12? Just let himself in. himself in. Let's just take them all. Just take them all. No one will suspect it with all the keys missing. Nobody will suspect a thing. Why is one in the middle? Must be down the end. This is the doctor. Oh. Bad bit of sound editing there. With haste, man. Filing cabinet. Behind you. On the floor. Filing cabinet. Filing cabinet. Filing cabinet. Any of them. All of them. Hurry up. Hurry up! I'm snooping around somebody's room. Oh, mate. I'll just go to the bottom left. A stamp. What's in bottom right? It was just an empty one. Probably a banana. What's in here? Take it he's looking for a key. Why did he take the stamp thing out? It's like one of those ink stamps. Another one. It's a puzzle, isn't it? It's a puzzle. Oh. That's because they would have set this up. I've got 3 of those bloody things now. They would have gone to this much time and hassle. Yeah, I'd say a sigh. Was that it? You didn't even let me see it properly. Oh, it's just something like that. So they're those ink diagrams. What do you reckon? It's a simplistic one. Anger. Change is the bottom right. So they're all in the right order. Yeah. Put it in. Hurry up. Hurry up. Oh, that was really hard. Tapes. D. Melissa. Let's go with Melissa. So obviously that's the girl he's looking for. I'll be a bit more excited, mate. Jesus Christ.
But it's not a sign of regression. She exhibits no signs of typical behaviours or bouts of clarity. Moreover, I began searching for any outside record of Melissa.
That's not Melissa herself.
There's none. No employment records, social media accounts, or even tax payments. It's like she appeared out of nowhere. I trust Dr. Aniston, but something doesn't feel right here.
That prop would have cost them like 100 quid, 150 quid. Probably, or more. They probably rented it and then gave it back. Because a Grundig cassette radio like that is probably going to set you back 200-300 quid. And I bet you it didn't work. It ejects and opens, but I bet it didn't play. It's got no lead going in it. That's before, but that wasn't batteries either. Or it may have been like a 9-volt battery. They are 90 minutes or 60 minutes long. It could have just been a little bit of music lulling you into a big confessional recording. He didn't give it a chance. Another tape. Doesn't play.
Has crossed professional boundaries. I haven't seen her, but this Eleanor Malone is clearly underage. I was told that etiquettes wouldn't be broken. Who knows what psychological damage could be done to such a young mind? Well, I'm out. He doesn't suspect anything and shouldn't until it's made public. Further observations would be useful, but the research I've already conducted...
Can't see it going around.
The first few chapters are locked in my bedside drawer. After this term, I'll publish. Where I'm going, not even Aniston could find me.
She's gone rogue. She's got a conscience. Let's do D next.
D.
Yeah, you remember, you went into a room and it was completely pointless, but uniquely directed, uniquely decorated.
Wouldn't say she's made any improvement. It's like she doesn't want to. Moreover, she's been acting suspiciously this well. Less
That was just the script.
self-centered. I believe it's promoted by the upcoming pageant. But I don't know what she's up to. This led to my research. It didn't take me long to discover Dee's real name.
Who is it?
I knew that she arrived in 1969, so I obtained permission to access the records room, and now I'm not so sure.
Oh.
It could be valuable for her recovery, but this kind of repression wouldn't come without some repercussions, perhaps even violent in nature. I'll think it over for now.
Pointless.
The records room.
Yes, mate. But the way you move, they'd have moved the records room by the time you get there. He's not giving these tapes anywhere near as long as he should. He should be sitting there forwarding it It's like
be forgiven
all the
for
information he
mistaking
needs
it for
is
some
immediately accessible as soon as he
identification
presses
struggle.
play.
Not to say such struggles don't exist here. Just look at George. Instead, it's my observation that Jordan's case runs far deeper than that. A very misguided attempt at a Shakespearean tragedy. I believe bereavement counselling is the next action step.
The pacing is awful in this game. Just want something like to come in and you have to hide, or just some... Oh, Christ. Mrs. Packard? Packard? Is there anybody else that... I'll just go in any room. What was the other key that I picked up? Run! Carol Vorderman.
There's loads. Have you seen this one? There's just so many. How am I supposed to remember what they all mean? Oh no, I can't see you now. Go away.
If this is the tortoise in the hare race, I'm the tortoise. And I'm rapidly being distracted by other things. I don't care how offbeat you try and make a game, the pacing has to be there. Too long. Too long. Move on. Move on. Oh. It lingers too long, and I'm all for that, you know, like creating. I'm all for creating an environment, an atmosphere. I'm all for that. You don't have to have, you know, cutscenes every 5 seconds, but when you're playing a game like this, which is sort of like a mystery, you know, blah 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 game, the game physics are in question, just the pacing of the physics. I have to take that off because I get a weird echo that affects me when it's like I'm in an echo chamber. So when I originally given the option of taking keys, I thought I'd try and like work out the mystery so I don't have to go every door. But this game wants you to check every door. So here you go through, you know, doors, check maps, up and down, up and down. No, you got to go through every single door. We did 12.
It seems a petition is being passed around the verse. Should you sign, it will mean a change of the etiquettes. I personally won't be putting that to paper. Who knows what to expect with the unknown?
So much overacting and a terrible script. terrible. Oh. At this point, I no longer care. I no longer care. And now it wants you to read this. I no longer care. Because I don't think it makes any difference. It's not going to make a blind bit of difference if I read that letter or not. If I read these letters, am I supposed to? Somebody's in it and it jumps out. Oh, it's like my boat. They've even got like one of those rugs from the 70s. It's a, oh, cold feet. It's a dead body, mate. React. React. This is going to give you the option of checking the drawer again. Mate, come on. Animate. Animate. Be animated.
Look, I found one. See?
There's a dead body in there.
This is Grace.
There's a dead body in there.
Emily.
There's a dead body in there.
I need to keep reading. Janice, I think.
There's a dead body. Let's get that. But. Okay, I think I've had enough of this game. I think I've reached my boiling point with it. I have absolutely no interest. Oh, let's just get past this. Oh no, no, it's the wrong one. It's the dead body. It's a dead body. There's a dead body. Are you gonna reveal the dead foot? No. No, I'm done. I'm done. Goodbye. 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 £14, everybody. £14. £14. £14. That's £14 I'm not getting back. Well, to even call that, to even associate that with Twin Peaks, to even, it's a crime, whoever wrote that review, a British Twin Peaks. Just by being unconventional, shall we say, in the way that the story was unfolding, does not make that in any way, shape or form. That's like somebody who doesn't know anything about David Lynch, because he extends time. That's what he does a lot. He will extend time. I remember an episode of The Return where Dougie was in the office and he was looking at a power socket, and he was looking at the power socket for a good 2 or 3 minutes. The camera was fixed on the power socket, but there was a growing sound of ambience coming through that was disconcerting, and it got laughable at one point. You found it funny because it seemed to be the gaze was stuck on this plug and you're expecting something. Your imagination started to imagine what was going to come through the plug because you've seen something like that earlier in the series. That was clever, and I don't know what that was. I really don't know what that game was. I don't know what it wants to be. It wanted to be unconventional. That's what it set out to be, unconventional, and it just doesn't translate well to a game or gameplay. It was arduous. And some of the acting, and yes, I went on about the diversity thing, but it just feels like at one point It's just a box-ticking exercise to bring everyone in, who work on it, and it begins to get a bit... It's very tiresome, and they skip the story for this shit. They skip the story with characters that you have absolutely no interest in. Oh my god, I did not like that game. I don't even think it started out well. I think it started out... The pace... Well, I mean, it was grinding to a halt by the time I switched it off then. It was grinding to a halt, and nothing I was doing in terms of critical thought would have made it go quicker. You just had to go through every door and let it play out like that. But oh no, Wales Interactive, the bunker. Tell you what, you had no money for the bunker. You had absolutely no money for that, and you made a great low-budget horror movie game. But that, given a budget, which I don't know what the budget was on that, but it was huge. It would have been huge. It would have been in the, I don't know, 100,000s, 200,000, something like that for the filming budget on that alone, easily. With that amount of extras, costume, location, props, easily 250,000, easily. And what did they do with it? They made an awful story. Well, the story it didn't grab me, really. Within 10 minutes, it didn't grab me. So, a convoluted attempt at being unconventional. There's a time and a place, and an FMV is not that place. Not like that. I think my mate's game is going to absolutely shit on that. So they will be the ones that will be reeling. Wales Interactive will be reeling that they ditched the project. Because I know how much my mate has put into his game, and I know how much backstory there is in that game that he's doing. I mean, it's epic, and it's going to be an amazing game. If you haven't already, and you are still watching this stream, and you haven't already, check out Cradlemore, which will be available on Steam probably either later this year or early next year. It's my friend's game. I've done a bit of work on it. My car's in it. That's great. My Peugeot. But that aside, anything that I've done on it, and I do think it's going to be a wonderful achievement for any independent, especially after Wales Interactive, as I said, pulled out on the deal after promising the world. If that's the kind of world, mate, that they promised, you can do without that kind of world. That was quite arduous to get through. But I'm going to leave that stream up anyway. I don't know how many people are watching. Probably not that many. I mean, I would have fallen asleep. I think I would have fallen asleep if it had just been me. I think there was 8 people watching. That was awful. That was awful. And I've played FMVs before. I really enjoyed The Quarry. I've really enjoyed that. I mean, yes, it's a no-brainer teen slasher horror movie game. I enjoyed that. I think, yes, that's where FMV sort of works for me still. Until Dawn, I think it was. Vintage British Television. Hello, mate. It was awful. I'm sorry to put people through that. I'd never played that game before, and yeah, I mean, I can see why it's got mixed reviews, but the one thing it's got going for that game is it's beautifully shot. It's beautifully shot, but they've not worked on... all the money's gone into production. That's what's happened there. All the money has gone into production. Mixture of some so-so acting with atrocious acting. And no thought of the story or script or gameplay. Which is the 3 things that you really want to keep you interested in playing a game. And what you're left with is... well, you're left with that. You're left with that when you neglect to address screenplay, you neglect to address the script, when you neglect to address the actor's capability, the scope means nothing. The scope means nothing. I mean, it can look good, which it did, but can play piss poor, which it did. Thanks, Vintage British Television. Thanks for watching that. I'm quite a harsh critic when it comes to most things. That's why I don't watch much modern stuff. I have recently watched, being that this is Major Dolby's Cat channel, I have recently watched, what was it called? Jan Francis came out of retirement for a scene in it that lasts no longer than a minute and a half. It's an ITV drama. ITV drama. Recent, what's it called? It's called Unforgotten. And I watched it on ITV Plus or whatever it's called. Yeah, I sort of enjoyed it. I sort of enjoyed Unforgotten. The Series 6, I believe it is, that's playing right now. I don't think... it's been a long time since I owned a terrestrial TV. So I don't know whether there's just been one episode of it. But when you have ITVX or whatever it's called, I've watched them all over a period of 3 days. While it does sort of go into a few cliches with a few ideologies, shall we say, I was impressed with the level of police kind of research that they went in. Like, you really do feel that they're piecing a crime together, and it's done so well. The police talk scenes are probably the strongest in that I've seen in a long time. It really felt like a criminal investigation by real police, and I think that the leads, and I've forgotten their names now, are very good in it. In particular, the chap that's from Goodness Gracious Me, who I really only remember from Goodness Gracious Me. What's his name? He's an Indian fella. I've forgotten his name, but he's from Goodness Gracious Me. Maybe a bit of that was an Indian comedy. He's fantastic in it. Sanji, why doesn't this have cast? It doesn't have cast. Yeah, and I thought the acting was pretty spot on. But as I said, there were certain moments of it where it didn't fall into the identity politics kind of crazy stuff that you see. There were moments of it where they just took a stereotype. Like, whenever anyone's dealing with portraying the far right, I always think... but the interesting thing that it did address it was the conspiracy theorists. And there was a whole subplot going on there that I found quite interesting, that they'd incorporated it into a mainstream television series, and it wasn't necessarily in a negative view. They weren't really sort of the police weren't really interested in that. They didn't go down that route of making more inquiries when they learned about the supposed far right stuff, but they could have. They sort of went down the simping line a little bit with a character, and they sort of straddled the belief of somebody with say something like an ADHD, autistic spectrum thing, and they sort of straddled that as well. And I was a little bit like, that's sort of, it's sort of like A-level sort of writing for some of that. It's like they haven't really gone into that when they talk about the far right and stuff, and they talk about somebody's autism. They haven't really addressed that. They sort of skimp over that with the very basic stuff. But that doesn't get in the way of a really good written crime investigatory, sort of series, and its strength was in that, the police side of it. Anyway, and Jan Francis came out of retirement for it. She hadn't been in anything since 2016, 17, something like that. She was only in it for about a minute and a half. But it was great to see it. I mean, she must have been friends with somebody from the show. It's been going for a good few years. I think this is Series 6. So, yeah, Unforgotten. Worth checking out, actually. I mean, I like Jimmy McGovern. I don't think anything... If you're doing a crime police drama and it's by Jimmy McGovern, I'm going to be watching it. So I tend to... That's been my... For the last 25 years, ever since Cracker came on our screens, which is a masterpiece... Jimmy McGovern crime. If you've got Jimmy McGovern series that's focusing on a crime, then I'm watching it, because that's pretty much kind of, you know, sums up to me that you're going to get a really good writing. But that being said, Unforgotten. I was pleasantly surprised by it, and I was only really watching it just for Jan Francis to appear for 1 minute and a half, episode 2 at the end, if you're interested. See what she looks like today. She's very still very glamorous. She did her acting over a glass of wine on a telephone call. But yeah, I thought it was. Without going back over it, I thought it was a very well written crime mystery, and it was the first thing I've watched on modern television in quite a few years. So, Unforgotten, series 6. Series 6. I believe it's a series that investigates crimes that have that happened many years ago. I'm not sort of pushed to go back in. I believe it was that other actress that used to be in it up to series 4. I've seen her before. So they changed the lead actress around for series 5 and series 6. I thought she was very good. And as I said, I thought the guy from Goodness Gracious Me was absolutely terrific. Brilliant role for him. But I see that they changed the actress around. I know that actress. What was she in? I've seen her before. Somebody from the old days of when I used to watch television. But yeah, it's very good. It's very good. Oh, I'm out of focus. I'm always going to be out of focus with this camera. There we go. Tracking cancel. No, tracking work. So yeah, yeah. We got Scotch here. Yeah. Yes, thanks for watching Vintage British Television. Hello, Richard. Hello, Richard. Richard English is here. You just missed the god-awful. Well, let's just say, Richard. It was awful. Probably one of the worst games I've played in a while. But definitely one of the worst FMVs I've played in a while. I don't know. I bought it a couple of days ago. I was interested in just the review of somebody saying a British Twin Peaks, which that person now needs to be taken dragging, screaming out of their house. And winched up on a giant rope and swung until they no longer can ever write anything like that again. So whoever said that game was a British Twin Peaks, quit your job and go and become a potato farmer in County Derry. Nothing wrong with County Derry, but awful game. Skip that version. I should have just put on a game that I knew was good. I'm going back to a game called Until Dawn, which I completed probably 4 months ago now. I made a lot of mistakes. If anyone ever watches me play FMVs, they know that I sometimes make terrible mistakes. So there was a lot of people that died in that version. So I might go back and try and save a couple of people who I was a bit annoyed that I killed off. I saw bits and pieces. I was in the middle of something and it didn't look very inspiring. The cinematography, mate, visually, even if you were sort of like you didn't listen to it, which is a good thing, by the way, mate, that you didn't hear it, because the script was terrible. It certainly looked the part, and they'd certainly had a budget and spent it on it, but when you've put absolutely £0 into creating a script worthy, or a game of understanding the game physics of a FMV and investing a little bit of time in making the game kind of interesting to play, they spent £0 on that, and they must have spent it all on that tartan rug from 1974. Laura Ashley curtains everywhere. I mean, their props budget department must have just been sky high. Just been sky high. I enjoyed Hearts and Minds by Jimmy McGovern. That's an amazing. Anything McGovern's done, vintage British television, anything he's done, I think is worthy of any of the highest accolades in British drama. I particularly like Time, the first series of Time. I'm going to the second series of Time, although I've heard it isn't quite as good. I can't imagine it not being good, but yeah. And The Street. I've just started watching The Lakes again. I hadn't seen The Lakes. I hadn't revisited The Lakes. I've revisited Cracker. I know Cracker off by heart. But I hadn't been back to The Lakes, and I thought John Sim. He was good in The Lakes, and that was his breakout role after he did that film Boston Kickout, which is quite an interesting British film from the mid-90s. And I thought I hadn't gone back to John Sim. I'd gone back to him recently. Well, I say recently, in the last year. I watched Life on Mars, the first series of Life on Mars, and I was like, I really like John Sim. I liked him more back then than I like him now. But going back to The Lakes, the thing that made him a television star, if you like, while it's not the strongest McGovern series, it's worth a revisit. The Lakes, it's got some very good things still going for it, like 25, 30 years later. It's actually worth going back to if you haven't revisited it. McGovern's Hillsborough drama was very impressive, and his stage play, King Cotton, about the slave trade and its connection to the Lancashire cotton mills was impressive. The Hillsborough drama was that is really hard to watch though. That's he was always showing a passion for Hillsborough story anyway with the Cracker episode. So he knew that was a big thing to focus on with different characters in different shows. And I know that obviously he did that with Robert Carlyle's character, who was seeking revenge in some way for that incident. But yeah, I just want to say thanks for watching on the stream. I appreciate that. I'm not doing these as much, probably because I've lost my mojo a wee bit with streaming. I find them to be quite hard work to do and for little reward. and I've just given up on things that have little reward for me now. So streams are a bit harder for me to do. So I appreciate everyone coming here. There may be the odd one when I play a game, like now. I was just going to play it. To be honest with you, if I wasn't streaming that, I would have switched that off 15 minutes earlier. As soon as I realised that it wasn't a critical thought game, and it was just a open every door and see what happens game, then I think I would have probably come off of that 15 minutes earlier. Instead, I carried it on because I thought, if somebody's watching the stream, they might be enjoying it, but I could not get through that. That would have been very hard for me to get through. Don't care for this drama Common about joint enterprise law. I suspect there was some interference there, as it was overly stylized. Is that something new? Common. I've not kept up with it, mate. But if that's something new, so it's not. I haven't seen it. I can't comment on that. I really like Time. The first series. I haven't gone back to the second. I'm behind. I need to get to the second series of that. As I said, I'm back on the McGovern train with The Lakes. And I've seen The Street a number of times, all 3 series of The Street, and I love that. But I'm gradually getting back. I'm not going through Cracker again. I want to go through a few. Was it Moving On? Did you think or Moving On? There's something I never really caught the first time round. Is it Moving On? Am I thinking of something else? No, it was Moving On. Yeah. So, Moving On, was that the stuff he did in the afternoon? What was the stuff that he did in the afternoon? I'm tempted to go to that as well. So I'm going backwards, and then I'll eventually get to Time Series 2, and I will watch it. But I was enjoying that Jan Francis thing. I'm going to say Jan Francis. She's only in it for a minute and a half. A 2014 one-off drama. So is it dealing with... it doesn't sound great. On paper, Enterprise Law doesn't fill me with, like, joy. But knowing McGovern's written it, it sort of... I know it would probably do well in terms of its writing, but would it be interesting? And saying that, Mad Men, when that came out, I remember thinking... I wouldn't enjoy Mad Men because it's about advertising, but God, was I wrong about that when I first watched that. It's behind me anyway. There he is, Don Draper. There he is behind me. There he is, King Don. I want to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. He came up with that, did you know that? It was Don Draper. He came up with that for Coca-Cola. It's not ruining Mad Men if you haven't seen it. It finished ages ago. Everyone who would have watched it has watched it. The Street was fantastic. The episode with Bob Hoskins, clearly inspired by High Noon, was a highlight. Enjoyed Moving On. Nice way of sneaking anthology television back into the mainstream. That was great, wasn't it? That was great. It was great that they. I just love that Shortcuts Magnolia style of things. Just having something happen, an incident happening, and how it affects different people in each episode is wonderful. It's great writing, and you can only really master that if you are a great writer, of interlocking a jigsaw puzzle of a script in, and having it all be relevant and some of it unrelevant. People like the third series of League of Gentlemen, which pretty much does a fantastic job at weaving a narrative around an incident. If anyone remembers the League of Gentlemen Series 3, which is my favourite season, my favourite series of League of Gentlemen is 3. I think for laughs, I think it's 1 and 2. So I think 3 is a little bit shorter on the laughs. However, it gets a little bit more darker, you see, and that's where I guess the comedy has to take a little bit of a backseat in some episodes where it gets quite grim. And you have to be a particularly lover of black comedy to laugh out loud. But what you get with Series 3 is probably the finest writing. And I think Series 3 actually helped Pemberton and... what's he called? Shearsmith. I think it helped them with Inside Number 9. There's a lot of it. When I watch Inside Number 9, certain episodes remind me of Series 3 of League of Gentlemen. I think that they sort of were testing that kind of writing, I think, with Series 3. But yeah, anyway, I mean, those kind of, like an anthology television, as you put it, Richard. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. But yeah, so what's happening now? I'll tell you what's happening now. Here we go. Put that on. There we go. Donna, creme brulee. That's it, Donna, creme brulee. Which is the series where he's working in the hospital radio, and you see that patient in the background trying to throw himself out of a window. Because I think he's played creme brulee a couple of times. That song. I can't remember the exact. I haven't been back to the League of Gentlemen for many years. I should do. Say the last one I watched. The one I watched the most is the third, because I enjoy the screenwriting aspect of it. But the first 2 series I've watched a lot, but I haven't watched in 10 years. But yeah, so a little bit of news while I've got some of my lovely people here, my lovely friends. My Tall Tales from a Narrowboat has died. I'm not getting anyone joining me over there. It's so disheartening to see the numbers dropping. But even when I put a video out, they drop more, because I think people that did join me from the Tailors Aboard channel are expecting another cruising channel like that, so they probably don't really want to see a man go to a farmer's market and buy cheese. They probably want to see cruising. So a lot of the subscribers, I've lost, I think, 15 subscribers in the last week and a half or 2 weeks. on that channel, because I'm not constantly cruising like the Taylors, and that was where a vast amount of views came from. So bless the Taylors for allowing me to plug my channel on their one of their videos. And I am seeing Diane in a couple of weeks, but I don't want to talk too much about Tall Tales on here. But yeah, it's a little bit disheartening. It's a little bit disheartening. The whole streaming thing is sort of been moved away a little bit, and I've become a bit lax on Discord even. Probably because I'm being consumed by work at the moment in terms of earning money, which is great. So a lot of these sort of side ventures of streams and channels and stuff like that have become sort of something that I do in the background of everything else that's going on. I had some bad news in the last couple of weeks. I couldn't pick my cat up because the work that's going to be due on this boat has been put back until April. And that hit me for six, because I thought I'd finally could get the work done. And it's a lot of work. I mean, flooring, installing a new fire, the solar, which is now all being done by two people, one company. But they originally said that it would be January, it would be February, whether it would all be done. And that's what I was told in November. That's why I set plans to get my cat in February with the litter that was coming this month, and they are for sale now, the little kittens. And there was 3 females, 2 males. But I'm not going to get this litter, unfortunately. I do not want to put the cat through stresses and strains of having strange people on board, walking up and down, putting flooring down. I don't want that as a kitten. I'd be worried that the kitten would escape. So there's a lot of things that I have to now put forward. So a cat is going to have to wait until April, May, and then it's going to be literally in here when I'm moving the boat. So that will be fun. I wanted to ideally get the cat for a couple of months used to the boat while I'm in a marina. But I'm definitely getting a cat. I'm not putting it off any longer, even if I have to get a cat and travel at the same time as training it. It'll be fun. And the cat will get to learn that the boat moves very early on. So, I don't have to worry so much about it being freaked out when the boat starts wobbling or I'm, traveling along. So in some way, it'll probably be better for the cat to... Oops. So that's happening there. And yes, I'm doing a promo for a local business. And I'm also working part-time at Waitrose as the delivery driver. So still doing all the bits and pieces. Trying to keep my head above the water, as they say. But yeah. So I haven't put as much time in my channel as I should do. It's just a bit disheartening to see people leaving Tall Tales. So didn't enjoy the 3rd series of the League of Gentlemen at the time for some reason, but you rewatching it in recent years, I agree with you. I guess it does take... It is very different to the first series and Series 1, Series 2. It is different. And I do think Pemberton and Shearsmith were honing their skills a little bit more for Inside Number 9 and what came later. There was something in between that. What was the one... There was somethingville. Psychoville? Am I thinking of the right thing? It wasn't as good. It definitely wasn't as good as Inside Number 9, and definitely wasn't as good as League of Gentlemen. There were elements to it that I enjoyed at the time, but when I rewatched that probably 15 years ago, I thought, it doesn't hold up as well. Psychoville. Still worth seeing because it does have some great stuff in it. Oh, Donna, well done. I would have loved to have seen them live on stage. That would have been amazing. I think I've seen the show. They released it on a DVD, didn't they? The League of Gentlemen live. But to see it, that would have been great. Stick with Tall Tales. Peaks and troughs are natural. I was barely getting a hit to my blog for months, and suddenly it went up just below 250,000 views. I think I'm going to have to grab that and put that up there. Oh, there you go. Stupid thing. I'm not getting rid of it, Richard. I'm just probably less enthused about... The worst thing about keeping like a video vlog, vlog going is trying to find new content that you're not repeating yourself, and something that's gritty and worthy. I just don't want to be that guy that just records something to record something. So, but I figured if I could release a video once a week on there, it would keep people. But it hasn't worked. So, and I'm probably more inclined now to say, give it a little bit of a breather, a little bit of a rest, and people go, they go. And then once I'm moving again in May, I'm going to lift that up there. What is it dropping down again? It is. And once I move again in May, it'll be a bit more interesting content. Hopefully, people will come back to it. So, yes, there's going to be a bit of a lull on that channel. But I don't think it will. I don't think it will be for very long. So, fingers crossed. You're great at live streams. Very engaging. Oh, Donna, thank you, Donna. I don't think it's anything that I feel like I'm doing myself that's putting people off from watching. I just think that there's just so much stuff out there. And when you're trying to work out your audience, and as I said, 700% increase in Tall Tales happened because people just subscribed after being on my friend's channel, and it was great that I had that. But I also knew that I'm wondering how many of these people will stay once they realize that I'm not the Taylors. I don't continuously cruise. I don't have all these great stories and drone footage of the boat traveling along. I don't have any of that. So I did expect a few to tail off. So yeah, I think I went off League of Gentlemen during the second series as it felt overly produced. That's why I probably didn't enjoy the third series as much. When you get your mojo back, I'm sure Tall Tales will pick up again. I expect so, Richard. Yeah, it's winter, isn't it? It's winter. It's like the weather's been friggin' awful. It's just been drizzly and cloudy, and even just getting the camera out, it's like, ugh. I did buy myself a little gimbal for the mobile phone now, so I am sort of ready when I do move to capture some nice angles and stuff. So I know as the filmmaker that I am, or was, that I understand about scenery and stuff. So, and now having a better piece of equipment and an easier piece of equipment to use while I'm traveling, I know that I can make a video that looks polished. But yeah, I'm sure it will. I'm sure things will pick up with that side of things. It has been my creative chance to just move away from boat repairs and fixing stuff and delivering food. I guess when it's cloudy and rainy outside, it's hard to be motivated, even though I do require a certain amount of creativity in my life to keep myself being positive. Major Dolby's cat, on the other hand, that's just going through the roof, isn't it? It's just gone through the roof. It's like 16,000 subscribers. It's going up every month. I'm gaining like 1,000 subscribers on average a month. Well, I was not. It's slowed down a bit now. The momentum there is interesting because it's because of the content that I just keep putting on there and some of the rare stuff that I'm uploading. And that won't change. I guess I've stopped answering so many of the comments now that I get on my videos through the day. I've stopped answering quite so many of those. But I'm quite happy with those. I'm quite happy with that channel, and I'm still waiting for a strike to disappear, which is in 27 days. A strike comes off, and then in, I think it's 42 days, another strike comes off. So I do have a channel with 2 strikes at the moment. I don't know if anyone's aware of that. So I am being a bit like, I've made a lot of stuff. Unlisted, which you can get the list if you go on to Discord. You can see all the unlisted stuff. So I've reduced my content by things that I think may trigger someone, because if I get another strike, the channel's gone. Simple as that. The channel's gone. So 28 days and counting, back to 1, and then 42 days back to 0. So fingers crossed. And bearing in mind, one of those was for the Saint movie, and that was Warner Brothers, I think. And the other one was for a live stream, which is another reason why I'm a bit dubious about live streaming. When I can't play content that I want, clips, because they watch live streams and you can get a copyright strike from a live stream. And I did from a werewolf stream, or from a Halloween stream I did nearly 2 years ago. Well, over 2 years ago now. And it's like, it'd been up on my channel for a year and a half before they found it and said, strike, because you used Universal stuff for 25 seconds. Anyway, thank you. Thank you all for watching this impromptu stream. I really appreciate that. It's been on for nearly 2.5 hours. Admittedly, an hour and 15 minutes of that was an awful game. Wales Interactive, no points, and the bunker was so good for a low budget horror movie game. And then you're giving all that money. You're giving all that money to make it look such like a high end production movie. And you skimp on a screenplay, and you skimp on the actors, and you skimp on the gameplay, and you skimp on the physics. You can't shine shit. You can't shine shit, Wales Interactive. And that's what you did there. You made it all shiny package with a very, you know, it's like a box of After Eights, and they were out of date inside of it. Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Donna. You've been lovely. Thanks for Vintage British Television. Love your channel, mate. I did subscribe, actually. I think I subscribed through my Odd Haunts channel. I think I subscribed through my Odd Haunts channel and my Tall Tales channel, if I remember right. Or I was going to. So I appreciate you dropping by. Hearts and Minds. I will go back to that, mate. I will go back to that one. I've only ever seen that once. That's why I sort of, like, when you reminded me that exists, anything with Eccleston and McGovern together, you can't go wrong, can you? You can't go wrong. You really can't. What was the film there where... what's the one with Sean Bean as a priest? I've only ever seen that once. That's heartbreaking. It's the one with Anna Friel. Oh, God, I don't know if I can go back to that. What was that called? Oh, God, that was heartbreaking. That's probably his most... That makes Time look like Jackanory. Not The Accused. The Accused was great. The Accused was great. What was the thing with... Richard? What was that McGovern one with... what I'm thinking of? I know one thing's for sure is it the Anna Friel story that starts it. Confession or something. No, what's it called? It's a story about her mum, and she's on, like, obviously it's McGovern, she's completely on the breadline with her family, and she basically claims her mum's still alive after she passes away and is claiming her benefit. It's the most harrowing thing, and a wonderful performance by Anna Friel, but Christ on a bike, I don't know if I can watch it again. I remember it ripping my heart out. And but yeah, the Accused is a good series as well. Broken, yeah. I don't know if I can go back to that, and I really appreciate what he did with that series, and some wonderful acting. Anna Friel's never been better, but could I go back to it again? Probably not that one. Probably not that one. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I will. Is that Sheriff Brackett's on? Just tuned in. I'm bummed I missed it. Looking forward to another live stream. Cheers, Sheriff. Appreciate you dropping in. Just saying hi. Yeah, I'm sort of at the end of it. It was. It's a good hour and 15 minutes of a terrible game. You can hear. I think if you were to watch it back, you would see me gradually losing my shit over the game. It's a sort of a gradual. I'm quite positive at the start. I'm hesitant in thinking it's going to be better than Twin Peaks or a British Twin Peaks is what it was compared to. I'm hesitant to that, and that's probably why I bought it for £14, because that's a big statement. Some reviewer who I've said now should hold their head in shame and never ever write a review of a game again, because if that's British Twin Peaks, then I'm a monkey's uncle. But yeah, so but thanks for dropping in, mate. I appreciate that. Thanks, Richard. Thanks Donna. Thanks, Richard. Thanks. Who else have we had here? Ben Manning at the start. Thanks, Ben Manning. It's lovely to speak to you. Thanks, Vintage British Television. VBT. I think I'm going to have to start calling you VBT now. Just shorten it. But yeah, I appreciate that. So I'm going to stop that. Get rid of that. And I will say, if I haven't seen you already, pop over to Discord. I do drop in there at least once a day. So it's always a way of getting hold of me. Leave a message there or post a link of some kind. Richard's posted some stuff recently. Thanks, Richard. I appreciate that. I did read about your teeth, about the dentist, and I need a dentist. I got literally a tooth fell out. It broke years ago, and it fell out about a year ago. And can I find a dentist? No. Luckily, it completely went, so I don't have any problems with it. I just want to. I would love to be able to have a tooth put in, replace it, because it's one of the big ones. It's just gone, and it makes it a bit awkward chewing steak. So, but I have looked into it, and it would be about $8,000 here. I'm not paying $8,000 here. I would rather go to Slovakia. I would rather go to Slovakia in a year's time and get a ceramic tooth implant. Was it ceramic implants? What they are? I think they're at least like 70% cheaper over there, and that's their sort of private healthcare as well. So I think I'd rather do it in another country. I'm not paying $8,000 to have a tooth put in, and I don't want a bridge or anything like that. I'd love a fake tooth, and I'd like it to actually be gold. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? To actually get a little bit of my savings to put it into a gold tooth. So I'll be wearing I'll be wearing my investment in the future. I won't be doing that. Right. Anyway, I'm going. Thanks everyone, and I'll catch you probably this time next month. Maybe a stream before then. I don't know. Could pop up. Could be one next week. Who knows? I never know at the moment. But a normal stream. I will sort of give a week's notice. So see how I feel. If anything changes. But thanks for watching, and I will speak to you in the next one. Bye bye, everyone.